Good evening, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to this Yashaswini series. Today is a 44th session, and I am CA Preeti Savla, Central Council member and um, chairperson of Women Members Excellence Committee. And at the outset, let me thank all of you for supporting me and giving me the thumping majority so that I can again serve you back in a great spirit and positively. And friends, today is our learning series of the 44th session of live webinar, Yashaswini and Idol. And more than 600 participants have already joined. And friends, it is our endeavor to serve the best to the members of the institute, students of the institute. We have also started ICA call Sahayata. You can note the number 9975 where all your regular queries will be sorted out. As regards to Women Members Committee, friends, we have taken a lot of initiatives, and one such initiative is like we have come out with this CA Women Excellence Awards. We have received more than 100 entries. Nominations we have already received, and there are 5 categories of the awards. And the awards will be presented on the first of February at Delhi. The process of review is going on. We also come out with SAFA Women Leadership Awards. The women members who are actually wanting can nominate themselves for the South Asian Federation of Accountants Women Members Awards. So that is the leadership which we are recognizing, which will motivate all the women members across world. And with these words, we are coming out with today's very, very important topic. The first session will be taken first. Today's first hour will be taken by CA Swati Badaya, who will be sharing her insights into Digital Personal Data Protection Act 2023, which is a very important act because day in and day out now the data privacy is very important, and we are sharing our numbers everywhere when OTP is required, and everywhere, wherever we go, our being numbers are being shared, the data is being shared, so that awareness is required where to share the data, where not to share the data. And with that, lot of frauds are also happening. So that it becomes very, very important as a person, as an individual, and as a company, as a firm also. So we can educate our clients also to have this requirement of this digital personal data protection act, and their policy also imbibe with that. So the Swati will be taking in detail. And the another topic is very, very important and near to my heart, is on eligibility and listing requirement on social stock exchange, that charitable trust and NPOs, section 8 companies which are eligible to register on the social stock exchange which is under BSE and NSE, right? So what are, because friends, all of us as a chartered accountant, either we are as a trustee in charitable trust, or we are auditor of this trust, and they require funding so that they can prosper their social activities. So there are 16 thematic areas, and this trust can get registered and listed on social stock exchange and get the funding through ZCZP, that is zero coupon, zero principal instruments. So what are the eligibility criteria for this charitable trust and NPOs, Section 8 companies, that will be dealt by CA Nirmala Soni. So these topics are both topics are very near to my heart, and a lot of good deliberations will happen in today's session, which will be helpful to all of you to practice in these new avenues. With these words, once again, I welcome all of you, my dear CA women members across country, across world. You have joined to this session, and let us understand if you also want to be the speaker or the moderator, so that we can also in the next session we can take up for yours. And we will have this is a platform and the opportunity provided to women members to share their knowledge and prosper. And even for moderator who can come, we have today Kirti Agarwal as a moderator, and who can come here and share and understand the topics, and then give their support services for our WMEC of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. With these words, once again, Preeti Savla, Chairperson, Women Members Committee, welcome all of you to this 44th session of Yashaswini and Idol, which means a successful women, which Idol is like inclusivity, diversity, the opportunities for all, and the leadership. So, welcome all of you, and over to the moderator. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. So,
And
good
once
afternoon.
again, I also, before Kirti, you start, I also want to acknowledge our consistent work and the support which is provided by our entire team of WMEC, where we have today our secretary Tapulapta and Ruchi is there and Saurabh is there, and other members who are not here but they are working day in day out, Jaya, right? So with this I also thank and acknowledge all the support which has been provided for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone. So, let me introduce the first speaker of today's session, CA Swati Badaya. Swati Badaya is a chartered accountant since 2008. She is a partner at a leading CA firm specializing in RERA compliance, GST, TDS, and e-commerce consultancy. She has expertise in search, seizures, and income tax cases, and forensic accounting and fraud detection. So we welcome hereby C. Swati Badaya. Now she will start her session on the topic.
A very good evening to all of you. I am grateful to Preeti ma'am and Kamiksha ma'am to give me opportunity to speak on this platform. Thank you, ma'am. Now, I think I am audible. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible. Yes.
Okay, okay, okay. See, we are the happiest community whenever the government comes with a new legislation. So, again, a reason to cherish the government has come with a new legislation, and that is Digital Personal Data Protection Act. See, we also see it as a troublesome. If we see that what is going in our office and how we have to comply it in our office, and simply how do our client comply with it. I see it as a positive side and it is a big opportunity for us because in country like India where there are so many people and the personal data and its compliance, it is a huge opportunity to us. Recently we have listened that data is a new oil. See, it is like a treasure chest. We'll know its value when we'll uncover it. And with the Indian data, it is considered as a best data because it is a global data, it is a diversity. And with this AI, which is working on data only, so it has given the more impact, and we have to. The Indian legislation has come for privacy of or of citizens of India. So, some let's take few examples from our day-to-day life. I think all chartered accountants every day we get one or two calls for from banks for getting professional loan or unsecured loans. I hope all of you will agree, and they come from so genuine number that we cannot overlook it because it can be our prospective clients. So we have left with no other option than to attend it. So, and if we raise the complaint to these banks, they say we are not the person, we are not calling you. So, how this digital data comes in their hands, and now this act will come here interestingly. Now let's take one more example. Suppose I want an ethnic wear for myself, and I just Google it, right? Then when I open my Facebook and Insta account, we all will see that they're loaded with the advertisement of the ethnic wears, isn't it? So how this goes? TV ads are much more cheaper than Facebook and in Instagram ads. What these people do that on the basis of the search history, they are giving the relevant advertisements to the respective IDs. They are just monetizing the digital data. These Facebook and Insta ads are much more expensive and they charge on per click basis. whether or not it has been converted into a second purchase, it doesn't matter to them. So all these seeing all these scenario, the Indian government has come up with the act to protect the personal data which is digital in nature. It is setting up a framework for processing of digital data in India. Right. Giving this introduction, I'd like to start it. Uh, I'd like to take the next slide. Right. How it happens, its journey. See what happened in 2017. There was a Justice K.S. Puttaswamy versus Union of India case, and it held that right to privacy is a fundamental right under Article 21 of the Constitution. See, this they provide that every citizen has a right over his own data and its usage. So the government has formed Sri Krishna Committee, which gave its recommendations and studied various throughout the length and breadth of the country, and it comes out with the Personal Data Protection Bill. Three versions came, but finally, the Digital Personal Data Protection Bill 2020 passed in August 23. However, it has not yet been notified that it will be when it has been start implementing. They have yet to come. Uh, Now the next is what is the basic purpose of this act? It says it provides for processing of digital personal data to safeguard the rights of the individual, and the processing should be done for the lawful purpose. See, this is the main crux of this act. Interesting thing, all the X use he, his words. This act is using she, her. So there's a change in era, and here she includes he, obviously. So it's totally different approach this time. And until now, somehow the data in India, the data is governed by Section 43A of Information Technology Act and SDPDI rules. Now, after this act, it will take over that. Now let's take the words personal data and digital personal data. Okay, it the data. Uh, it says that it is any information, facts, opinions. See, opinions are included. Our audit report is an opinion, so it is also under the data, either by the produced by the humans or by the automated means. Automated means I think we all are using chat gpt, so whatever data is coming out of that, that is also coming in this purview data. Now after going for the data, now saying personal data. Personal data, it says that any data about an individual who is identifiable by or in relation to such data. It is not saying that an exhaustive list of data. It is just saying identifiable by. Just imagine, they're like my PAN card, my email ID, all our data. Suppose, yeah, I share a blog on my Insta, and I just say that I met the tallest actor of the Bollywood. So I think everybody can assume it's Amitabh Bachchan. So it is also personal data, because you, in relation to that, we can identify the person. Now it is saying the digital personal data. So the personal data, if it is in digital form, then only it will cover. Suppose I go to a GST office, I just write my name and details in physical register, then it's not the data. However, if it is maintained in electronic form, then it's under the purview of the digital personal data. Now let's take some example of personal data. So email address. Yes, if it is at like it's swatibada@abc.com, it is a personal data. However, it is support@abc.com, then it's not the personal data, because it should be an individual data. It is about individual only. Home address, date of birth, photo, phone number, bank account number, credit card number, vehicle registration number. This is an interesting example. Yeah, if we see we all use Google Maps. If we see the 360-degree street view, you can try that. When you see their cars and the vehicle number is always masked. What happened in the European countries? A person, he just took from the Google Map. He just took the number, and he take out their and he take out the detail, and he just went to sell the approach to sell the insurance policy. So the Google was fined. So when if you'll notice it, the vehicle registration number are masked. So cookie ID, IP address, and all these are the personal data, examples of personal data. Uh, Now, there are the three main characters in this act, and that is the data principal, data fiduciary, and the data processor. It says the data principal is the individual to whom the data relates. I say that my voter ID. So I am the data principal for it, right? And if it is a child or person with disability, the lawful guardians or all parents are also the data principal. Now, coming to the data fiduciary, it is a person who determines the purpose of and means of processing the data. Suppose I register myself first time to Swiggy and I give the details. So the Swiggy is the data fiduciary and I am the data principal. Now this data fiduciary includes states also. The person is the definition is of income tax, which includes association of person, BUI, firm, HUF, age, artificial judicial person, and state is also included in that. And the third character is the data processor. It says any person who processes the personal data on behalf of the fiduciary. It is a data processor. Now let's take an example. Suppose I'm filing the ITR of a person, right? So this person, my client X, is a data principal, and I am writing the means and purpose. I am the data fiduciary. Now, suppose if I am taking the help of Compute EDS or Genius or something like that software, so it is a data processor over here. See, there's a nexus. And what this law says that there is a whole liability of any data breach is on data fiduciary. The data processor is not liable. So we have to take care that from it should be a trusted partner and there should be a due diligence. See, this is a kind of opportunity, and I'll discuss it in detail later on. We can take one more example over here to understand this. Suppose I am taking in my insurance policy, my health insurance policy. So the insurance company is a data fiduciary. The insurance company, in turn, for my checking my health record, sending me to a lab and hospital. So they are data processors over there, and I am the data principal. Now, coming to the next slide. Now, this law says that if this data is belongs to the individual, then it's applicable. However, there are two, three exceptions for it. It says that if it is for personal use, suppose I am throwing a birthday party and I'm making list on my laptop of the numbers and name. So this is my personal domestic use, or if it is publicly made publicly available by myself itself, like I put a video on a YouTube sharing my details, or I'm of my personal details, so it's out of the ambit of the act. Or if it is under any law I made it available publicly, like we can take the example of the GST drive. Recently they said that you have to display your GST number out in your premises, or if it's shop it's in out premises, whatever the case. So the GST number contains PAN number, so they have to display it. So then is this law will not applicable because it is under some other law. You have to display it. Now, coming next, let's discuss the applicability. Now, I think the digital personal data is clear, right? Now, if it is processing in India, yes, then this act is applicable, right? If it is not processing in India, still, if it is related to offering of goods and services to data principal in India, then it's applicable, right? Let's take an example. Suppose I am subscribing a US magazine and I am sending my credentials to the US company. See, so they are sending me magazines. So the on that US company, this act will be applicable because it is relation to offering of goods and services to a person in India, right? And suppose these outsourcing industry, they are doing like I'm processing the data of a French individual. So in India. So that will be applicable. This act will be applicable. Now, here I would like to discuss a very important thing, the cross-border transfer of India. What the central government has restricted the transfer of personal data by data fiduciary to certain blocklisted country. However, the sector-specific law will prevail. What is this? Data localization and data sovereignty is a big game these days. Data localization is the thing that your data, your own country data, cannot leave the territory of your country. It is the data localization. These In India, the act makers has come out very interestingly. They say that we are giving a negative list of country. Here you cannot store the data. However, if there's some sector, if some sector specific law, then you have to follow that law. Like if RBI, SEBI, and um, they say that insurance company, their law will prevail over that. Just imagine the if Russia's data is with the so-called Ukraine, their servers are with the Ukraine, and they said ki yeah, no, I'm stopping your data. So that's why they come up with the prohibitive list. And even in India, what I feel that the cost of they are not more data centers, and even cost of steering data is more, much more. Recently, in last financial years, only some companies' data got vanished because of these only. So in 2022, the Companies Amendment Act came, which says that all the data, all the books and accounts which are in electronic form should be accessible from India at all the times, and apart from them their backup should be kept daily, and it should be stored in India. See, if we have to see during our audit this during our audit, the companies follow this, and if not, then we this is under the non-compliance only. Now coming to the next, this is about data processing. The processing is a very wide definition, and it includes recording, organizing, alteration, combination, storage. See, auditing is 100% processing. Either you do it directly or indirectly. Directly, if I'm doing it of my client; indirectly, like if I'm doing the concurrent audit of a bank, and there I am processing the data of its clients. So I'm doing it indirectly. And even storage is including in processing. See, I have stopped processing. I'm not doing it not doing anything, but I have storing it. Then it also constitutes the processing. It's a very wide definition. Now, it is a good move. They are saying that processing of children's data in a person with disability. They say the data fiduciary, before processing the data of the children below age below the age of the 18, has to obtain the verifiable parental consent for child and person with disability from its parents or guardians. Now, let's take an example. Suppose my son is using the phone. The data is being collected. The fact that I am his parent has to be verified by some verification mechanism, and then my consent is taken so that my son can continue to use that phone or app. Largely, it will affect the gaming industry, online gaming industry, and social media platforms also. And it is just said that the processing should not be detrimental to the effect of the well-being of the child, and no tracking or behavioral monitoring should be done. However, there are some certain exemptions where the government feels it's safe and where it is prescribed. The two, three exemptions are given, and recently the government has come up with the draft rules. It has like how the parental consent has to be taken. It has mentioned in those rules also. The rules will out for consultation till 18th February, and they'll get then will they'll be getting finalized. Now coming to the next slide, what are the grounds of processing the data? This is an important slide. They say that the processing should be done only for lawful purpose, right? And they are done only on the basis of two, when the two criteria are fulfilled. One, if there is a legitimate use, okay, then it is okay. And as the second is, if the data, you have received the consent from the data principal, then you can process the data. See, this is the consent framework is the crux, is the basic of this act. The first we'll see the legitimate use, then we'll go to the consent framework. Now, legitimate use, they said ki when it is voluntary provided by the data principles. Suppose I want a flat on the rent. I go to some person. Next slide. I go to the rent other agency and I say I give him the my details to I give him voluntary my details to get the rent to get the flat on the rent. Now, when the purpose is over, he can keep my data, right? So I when I'm voluntarily providing the data to somebody, then it's a legitimate use. In relation to employment, where employer relation is there, then it's okay. In case of medical emergency, we can remember the Munna Bhai. If somebody is ill, you cannot give a notice and all. So it is a legitimate use, or by if it is under by the some state. Now the next is the which is the basic framework of this law is notice and consent. What this law says that if a data fiduciary has to process any data, he first has to provide notice to the data principal, and if the data principal gives the consent, then he can process the data. Uh, and it is also they said that it should be free, it should be specific. Suppose I want to download a telemedicine app to get the medicines, right? Now, they are asking me for the context for my gallery, so they cannot ask it because it should be only to the only to that much specific purpose that is needed for the processing of that. And the data fiduciary first has to provide a notice, which should state the personal data that is needed. Like if I want to file a ITR, I have to say that like I what the documents I am needing, and for the purpose which I am needed, the manner in which they can withdraw the consent, how they can approach to board, and their grievances and all that. Like suppose I open a bank account through a website. Now for KYC requirement, they say we need video based customer identification. So these bank people first have to serve notice to me regarding the purpose, the data they need, and then they will then if I will give the consent, then they'll take this video based identification of mine. See, to get the more coverage, it is given that it should be the language of the notice should be either be in English or in the language is specified in 8th schedule of the Constitution. See, getting translation is very easy because the AI is churning the translations very fast these days. This is a good step because so that the mass can be covered. And it is saying that if like I am already doing shopping from an e-commerce site and my data is already there. So after commencement of this act, that this e-commerce like shopper marketplace has to give me the notice in reasonable time that see this is all the data we have and how we are using it. See, we are the real estate is the hospitals, the CA firms, the hotels, the banks, the educational institute, they are sitting on a huge databases. And this transition consent notice, they have to give their clients, and this is a big opportunity to draft these transitional consent for these data fiduciaries. This is a huge big opportunity for us. Uh, Now, going forward towards, let's discuss it's in the consent. It should be clear, it should be unambiguous, and it should be informed. And it should be for specified purpose. Again, let's take an example. If I want to attend webinar given by the ICI asking the membership number, date of birth, name, like and marital status and income. The ICI cannot ask for the marital status and income because it is not specified with anything which is related to this webinar. So it should be specific only. And silence is not the consent. Pretext boxes, the days are the gone of those pretext boxes. And it should be granular. It should not be bundled. It should be single. It's like that. Now, moving ahead, uh, uh, Withdrawal of consent. It says the data principal has right to withdraw their consent at any time, and ease of withdrawal is also as similar as you have given the consent. It should not be like a chakravarti where you enter easily and you cannot exit easily. And interesting point that when I withdraw the consent from data fiduciary, then data processor also has to cease processing my data. Just take an example, like I am booking an Ola cab, right? The Ola is sending me the OTPs through these telecommunication providers, Airtel and all that, Airtel Geo. They do not give it them directly. There is a third party service through which they route it through the telecommunication provider. Now, when I withdraw my consent from Ola, then it's Ola's responsibility to cease processing to all the three: Ola, the third party service provider, and the telecommunication provider. However, if TRICE gives the regulation that you have to keep it for some years, then it's sector specific, then they have keep. So it is the onus of the data fiduciary, the first person to seize the data. Now coming to the next slide. See, we have seen that consent is a strong ground of processing the data. So we have to make such mechanism so that consent is genuine. Even we, like we are we educated people, just a second. We educated people just say accept all. And in India, we have huge mass with different educational backgrounds. So we have to come up to make it meaningful. We have to come up with a point which is called as consent manager, which can be treated as a single point of contact where all personal identifiable information of the data principal can be stored, and he can manage, review, and he is accountable to the data principal. And he is the center person who is controlling the whole life cycle of the personal information of uh, the data this data principal. See, we have seen the KYC requirement. If we do KYC in one stock exchange, in one like in NSDL, then it goes automatically to the other. It's just something like that, and it's more like the Niti Aayog's account aggregator. I hope many of you have know about account aggregator. It is a mutual taken by the RBI, Ministry of Finance, Insurance, IRDA, Provident PF, and Asset. They have come up with this account aggregator concept. They are like an NBFC company and they are licensed by the RBI. It is regulated by RBI. They are financial information providers like GST network, banks, mutual fund, assess management company, and they are financial information users also. What these they are working on the consent basis. Uh, these financial information providers are holding the whole information and they are providing it to financial information users to so that the financial products, the personal wealth management and insurance can be easily provided. Just imagine my GST turnover, my income tax details, my shares, my mutual fund details, my turnover, all are at a one platform, and I just have to give a consent to my loans, and just I have to give one consent. There is a consent, there's account aggregator, and I have just to give a consent, and I can advise with what portfolio I have to manage, what is better insurance for me, and what is the better loan product for me. It works on like that. It is the fourth layer of data empowerment architecture of India. See, in the first layer, the government has given you Aadhaar card, and they told you that they make you presence-less, identity-less. They told you who you are. In the second layer, they have given you DigiLocker, eKYC, eSign, and they make you paperless. And they say that what you claims to be. And in the third layer, it comes paymentless. They give you UPI, they give you API, they give you instant cheap payment. This is the fourth layer where they are giving you a consent layer. to enable the secure sharing of your data. These days, I think if you have gone through a PAR ID, all of you who's like the students, the government has given them a 12-digit number, which is compulsory. The schools are filling that, which is keeping the whole lifetime academic record. So they don't have to go to one place to another for they're taking their files. They have to just tell the number, and the whole details will be coming on the screen on one go. Like the ABBA card, the health record card was also introduced the word by the government. So everything is interlinked these days. Your whole information can be shared by just one click, and same is the role of the consent management. And even we chartered can be registered as a consent manager with the board. The rules are out, and it's giving this opportunity, like it's a new opportunity. Now, significant data fiduciary. See, a bigger player should has a larger impact than the small players, right? So the significant data fiduciary are notified by the government, which have a huge volume sitting on the huge databases, which have more sensitive data, which are more risky to the data principles. So, and in India, when we have around 83 crores are using internet, and in future we are expecting it to be reach at 1.125 crores. So we have a huge significant data fiduciary. We have a large this is the best slide that is for us. This is giving the opportunity. They have to appoint a data protection officer, independent data auditor, periodic audit should be done, data protection impact assessment has to be done. So these all are opportunities for our chartered accountants. Like we have a tax consultant, so a person can be a DPO consultant. It's like that only. See, technical part is easy. We have to, this is no doubt, it's a technical mixed legal part. The legal part we have to take care. The technical part is anytime very easy. Now, the next thing is the obligation of data fiduciary. Obviously, they have to report the personal data breach. They have to take security measures, and they have to enter into with the data processor through a valid contract. See, this is again an opportunity. They have to make notice with the data. See, you have to the data fiduciary have to give notice to the consent the person whose data they have carried. This is an opportunity, and a valid contract is because see, if I am giving my payroll process to a third party, and I'm entrusting it with my all bank account, all employee numbers, or employee IDs, so I have to make sure there is a mechanism that the third party who is doing my payroll services have a proper data security, cyber coverage, and how what the audit is, what is the due diligence over there, how they're processing the data. We should have a trusted partner. So again, there is an opportunity to for the for to do doing the data audit of such firms, of such entities, and there are significant in number because we are churning out huge data. Now, coming next, obviously there are some exemptions. They say if it is for in under this law, if it is under some law, therefore outsourcing industry, they have given some exemptions. If it's a defaulter, if there is some for research or startups, so in these cases they have given some exemptions. Now the next slide is about it says the rights of the data principle, that it gives the right as to access the information. They can correct it, complete it. They have a right of nomination. See, we are a step ahead from our global counterparts. See, most of the cyber crimes take place in insurance and banking sector on the deceased data. So the right to nominate is a step ahead with us. Now the next is duties. It says that you have to comply with all applicable laws, which is not a possible. Even if I jump a red light, I am guilty under this act. So it's not feasible. Now it's saying that you cannot impersonate other, you cannot suppress the material information, and you cannot give false or grievance, or you cannot give false complaint. And they are in fact they extend a fine of up to 10,000 rupees if the data principal does non-compliance of any of its duties. Now coming personal data breach. See, it is saying that in this the last slide, I would also like to see one more thing. See, yes, the duties of the data principal. See, we should not share our real-time information or our child's details on the social media. See, our we can see that our food preferences, our shopping preferences, our entertainment preferences, our behavioral pattern. We are leaving a large digital footprints. See, I say how my personal information, how does it matters? No, we are doing everything on the internet, and we are leaving the large digital footprints. And these with AI and and all the algorithms, they can control your choices slowly and gradually. I'm not saying now. They can offer you something. They can offer you limited things. They even can deny you. So we have to little be careful when we leave our digital footprints. And again, on the next is about retention of personal data. It says that data fiduciary, they have to erase their data, and simultaneously they have to make the data processor also to erase their personal data upon the obviously on the consent base, the agreement, or if they have the data principal has said the request, or as it is reasonable to assume, like we feel that the specified purpose is over for the processing, then they have to erase the data. I would like to here explain their data anonymization. See, these laboratories, they are churning out so much X-rays, so much test every day. So, and the companies are buying that, right? So now what happens that they are going towards data anonymization. Suppose the X person, which age 63, has this X-ray report, right? So they jumbled up like that, so that the you cannot correlate it. The personal data becomes a non-personal data that you can retain it, and that you can use for your further research and all that. And data pseudonymization is there. It's just that what the banks do, like when they process the credit card, their payments, so they just give a token number. They don't reflect the whole account number or the identity. They just work on the token. So data pseudonymization and data anonymization is can be through that the data can be retained. Now, there is a protection board. This has the guidelines, has the rules have come out for that, and it has been formed. It will be formed to enforce the law and about the penalties and for the breaches by the central government itself. Now, coming to the next, it's personal data. It's personal. Now, what is personal data breach? Personal data breach is any unauthorizing processing of personal data, right? Suppose let's take my example. Like I in the by the fifth or sixth, I download the to get the details for GSTR 1. Now there are two options. Either I send individually to my clients, or I just say copy paste in two or CC. So I'm not doing BCCC. I'm just saying I'm doing it. If I'm doing two in CC, so I'm sharing my email IDs with my other clients also. So this is again unauthorized processing. I am doing the data breach. And just imagine if the client is sending his data and he's saying reply to all. It's sending it like that. So it's saying it's accidental disclosure, or if it is even if it is under cyber attack, then it's considered a personal data breach. And even if it is a minor breach, then impact is not there. How much monetary impact is there? Even if it is a simple, if it's a minor, it has to be reported to the data board also, data protection board also. In 2023, the Aadhaar in 83 crores Indian data was on sale on dark web, which contains the information of their Aadhaar card, passport number, their addresses and name. It was in the news. So these data breaches are that was from the government point end of the data breach was from the government side, some foreign side, something like that. Interestingly, I came across with an ad, insurance companies selling the data breach policy in lines with DPDP Act. So it's going to be a big game. Now coming next, why this act is so powerful? The reason is the penalty. The penalty is the hefty penalties are there. Obviously, it make like if you don't take proper security reasons, it's up to 250 crores, and if you don't notify to boards, it is up to 200 crores. And if some is significant data fiduciary does not fulfill anything, then it's up to 150 crores. And it may extend to 50 crores in other cases. See, this is on the higher side, right? It depends. The board will certainly come out with some mechanism on the basis of its gravity, its repetitiveness, and how sensitive it will award the penalties. And it is per instance wise. It is not a cumulative. And if you are guilty under two things, then it will add under the two sections, obviously. Um, Now, after seeing the penalties, I think these days the digital trust is more important. See, like if we go for Apple or a Facebook, I think the digital trust is more towards the Apple. If there is more digital trust, the more data will churn out, and the this is has become not a cost center, not this has become a profit center these days, because digital trust is a big thing. Now, being a chartered accountant, what I think that we should start the discovery. We How should go ahead with this? We should see the data discovery exercise. It how much data we need, how it is coming into our system. I think we should accept the data through email only, not through WhatsApp, so that we can keep a track. And how we should work on the principle of data minimization. We should take, and even for our clients, see, every industry have a different like an automobile industry needs different kind of data to a hotel industry. So it is a industry specific, so we have to we have to draft a data policy, how it retention policy, and we have to how the data is coming into the system. We have to clear see the whole thing like that. And being an opportunity part, I see there are a lot of opportunity in this act, as if you can be a consultant DPO, you can be you can do data audits, you can draft the notices between data principal, data fiduciary, and data fiduciary, and data processors. Uh, Moreover, you can be the do data audits, periodic assessments. Um there are a lot of opportunities in this act. See, at the ending note, I'll just like to say that we are in a new era, and being our traditional practices, avenues of practices are getting impacted. So we have to develop with these sort of consulting skills, um, and we can start with very our own existing clients, and slowly we can become a specialist in that. In India, having a so many significant data fiduciary, there is a lot of opportunity. And legal side we can take care, and the legal side is the most important in that. And it's a time to start with, to pick up, to pace up, and we have to do the starting. It's a journey, and it will bring a lot of opportunity to us. Thank you for giving me opportunity and to listening to me. Um,
Thank you, Swati ma'am, for conducting such an amazing session. I think everybody would be inspired by listening your conversation. So there are a couple of questions in the chat box. So would you like to take one by one? Am I audible?
yes, you're audible.
Yeah. Okay. So the first question is, could you please share the procedure to report when data is hacked?
See, in the cyber certain you can complain in 72 hours when your data gets hacked. Recent till now, because the data protection board is still under formation, it's not been formed. It's totally digital in nature. But till that, you can, if the data is hacked, you can go to certain and you can lodge their complaint over there.
Okay. This was the only just one question which we have. If anyone wants to ask any further question, they can just put it in the chat box so we can take it forward now. That's it, ma'am. I mean, this was the only one question. Thank you so much for your time and giving us insights.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you, CA Swati Badaya. We'll now move to our next session, which is on the eligibility and listing requirements on the social stock exchange by CA Nirmala Soni. I'll take a moment to introduce our speaker today. So, Nirmala Soni is a chartered accountant with 18 years of experience in finance, taxation, and business valuation. She is a registered valuer, social auditor, and startup mentor, specializing in project financing, auditing, and business development. So Nirmala also serves as a faculty and career counselor with ICAI. I'll now hand over to CA Nirmala Soni to take the session ahead, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, ICA Women's Committee and Preeti ma'am and Kamisha ma'am for giving me this opportunity. Thank you, Ankita, for the introduction. Thank you, Swati Badaria, for the wonderful session. Uh, let me share my presentation today's. It is very important topic and a new area for working with work for all the CS who can work in this area. I hope my presentation is visible.
Yes, it is.
So our topic is today eligibility and listing requirements on the social stock exchange. So in this we would be covering various topics such as when the stock exchange this term came into existence. What do you mean by the stock exchange? What are the stock exchange which are globally are there? Taxonomy objectives. What is the objective of this social stock exchange? Who was the first stock exchange listed on the? Who was the first NGO which was listed on this stock exchange? And all the benefits, registration, all the procedures we would be discussing one by one. So before 2019, this was term was not in existence. No one was knowing in India. But after the speech of Nirmala Sitharaman, this was noticed by everybody, and she said that the social stock exchange will be come into existence under the ambit of SEBI. So SEBI is the regulator who deals with the social stock exchange, and the NGOs and not-profit organizations working for the social cause who can raise funds easily through the stock exchange, maybe in the form of equity, debt, or mutual funds, like we deal with in social mutual funds, social impact funds, like mutual funds, which can be dealt. So the speech was on 2019. Then there was a certain committee was formed. So first the working committee was formed in 2019. Then they went their report on to the committee on the 2020. After that, the technical constitution group was formed, and they have provided their reports on this. Then there was a board meeting for this, and then the declaration was done. And then on 25th July 2022, this came into existence, social stock exchange. So the SEBI, by its notification on 25th July 2022, has made its amendments in SEBI ICDR regulations as well as the SEBI LODR regulations listing an obligation and disclosure requirements regarding this social stock exchange. So social stock exchange can easily, so the NGOs can register on this platform and can get the funds for their social cause. And for this, providing this funds, the social, the NPOs, NGOs, and the organization has to provide the social impact assessment report. So the social impact report is the one area in which the chartered accountants can work, and this platform is a is likely like we do in the IPO. It is listed and it is open for the public to donate in this for the social cause. So it is a very important platform, so that the person who wants to invest in any NGO, he wants to give donation in any NGO, but he does not know about the which NGO he should go do, or he is very much particular that I want to give the donation only to the NGO who is performing for the well-being of the women, but he is not finding the any NGO nearby area. But he can easily see on the social stock exchange and give the donation through in this platform. So this platform provides the visibility and provide increased transparency for the NGOs. So it creates a trust between the donor and the NGOs. So the idea behind social stock exchange is very powerful. So the financial markets, it is like the same, like financial capitals can be easily raise and can be implemented for the social cause. So it overall development of the society as well as the social sectors are gaining much importance. So social stock exchange was a game changer. But before India, this concept came into India in 2019, but actual was around 2022. But before that, it was globally was present. So the Brazil was the first country where the social stock exchange was actually was working in 2003. Then thereafter social South Africa, then there was Portugal, UK, Canada, so Singapore. All this it was there. But in right now, what is the case? Only Jamaica, Singapore, and Canada stock exchanges are active, but other stock exchanges are inactive because of there is a lack of scalability and demand is not there for their services. So they have shut down. So because of this, which NGOs can list on this stock exchange? So their primary goal should be of a social enterprise. So the NGOs would be basically for the social cause, social intent and impact. There should be a social objective, like such as to serve underprivileged populations or any society as well, like a any old age home, like, or any other. So that can be donation can be made. So this social stock exchange creates an impact of both on the primary stakeholders, like who are like I want to do a donation, and the NGO, they are the primary stakeholders. Then the secretaries stakeholders means because of this funding, who are getting the actual benefits, like suppose it is for the education of any women's, for training for the any women's, then the secondary stakeholders are these women's and the society that training they can serve the society. So overall development of the society happens because of this. So basically, what are the objectives of this social stock exchange? So that they can large pool of social capital, so that the more and more funds can be arranged for this social cause. So this is also based on the financial structures, so that the NGOs have to do the audits very well, have to do there would be transparency where their funds are getting deployed, at what intervals their funds are deployed, means whether the funds are which are raised by through this social exchange are really employed for the training purpose or employed for the means giving the benefits to the old age, or whether all these are properly done or not. So their funds are not misused. Means I wanted to give the donation, but whether my donation is properly used or not, they can be easily seen through their various reports are there to be provided by the CAs, the professionals, so that can easily transparency is there between the donation donors as well as the NGO have to do all the financial transaction properly. So for this social stock exchange, there are two platforms, the NSE as well as BSE, on the same social stock means on the same exchange. They have a different segment, social stock exchange. If you open the NSE platform, you can easily find the SSC portal, social stock exchange portal. You can invest, means all the NGOs would be listed there, and which NGO you want to give the donation, you can easily give the donation to that NGO. So till now, more than 100 NGOs the funds through mutual funds, social impact funds, zero coupon principal funds. So as the name suggests, zero coupon, zero principal funds. Means zero coupon means no principal or no interest payment would be there, and zero principal means the repayment would not be there. So zero coupon, zero principal funds. So like I wanted to give you donation only. So why would I expect anything from return? So zero coupon, zero principal funds. So for this, the NISM started training for the social auditors. The social auditors are also one has to give the means one has to take the training from this NISM and give exam through this NISM centers. These centers provide the exam are for the examination purpose, and once they clear the exam, they can be the social impact assessor. So the first NGO listed on the social stock exchange was Unnati. If you go visit the Unnati website, you can easily see that we are now listed with the BSE, NSE, social stock exchange. This I have taken from the Unnati website. If you open the Unnati website, you can easily see this. So Unnati was the NGO listed on the social stock exchange platform, and this NGO wanted to raise 2 crores, 2 crore of funding, but through the zero coupon, zero principal, but they have raised 1.8 crore. This was the NABARD. No, major contributor was for this was a Zerodha. Well, they have contributed donated 1 crore rupees, and then NABARD, then 2020 they have donated. So they easily managed to raise the 90% of their funding through ZCZT bonds. So when you open the any NSC or the BSc websites, what information about the NGO you can easily gather from them. Till now, 9 NPOs have raised the funds, and they have raised the funds up to 12.4 crore. Are working for the projects, so training, skill development trainings, etc. So if you open the website of this NGO, means BSc or NSC, the following informations are displayed about the NGO: name of the NPO or NGO, means like this is Unnati Foundation, registration number, date of registration with the social stock exchange, where their date, validity up to when it would be valid, what is the status, whether they are listed, and website of the NGO. So all the information of the easily will. If I want, suppose I selected this with what was the main miss target audience, means target like they are providing the benefits through, whether they are providing the benefits through the old age, you can easily visit their website. What their social cause, what is their social cause for which they are working. So through their website, I can easily know about what is their information, when it was formed, who was the main trustee, who are all the other this the website, and their email address. Their email address and address are provided. If I am nearby area, it is a nearby area, I can visit that NGO, and I can donate directly also, or I can donate means through this website also. So this platform provides it creates a transparency between the donor as well as NGO. So social exchange to overall society as well. So what are the benefits? Suppose I want to list my NGO tourism. What are the benefits? So improved market access. So more and more investors, donors can be get. I can get the more and more donors, because to list my NGO on the website, on the social stock exchange, my all the compliances would be on time. So since my all the compliances will be on time, I can easily get the more and more donors for my, because there would miss the donors will be have the much reliability that their funds will be utilized for some good cause. There would be much transparency. And for this listing, there is very less cost is required, both for the issuer as well as the investors. So there is a listing charges are very nominal. So overall development of the society, because of this listing, there would be overall development of the society, and the central and state government will be also having the benefits for that. So what do you mean, first of all, since this is for the social enterprise, so what do you mean by social enterprise? So it can be not for profit organization, means they are not making any profits, or such enterprises which is making profits and utilizing that profits for are only doing profits, but utilizing that profits for the social cause. So for profit social enterprises means a company or a body corporate operating for the profits. So they are operating for the profits, but utilizing their profits for the benefits of the society. So biggest example would be Amul or Lijat Papad, you can say, because they were formed, they are making the profits also. Means like Amul was formed for unfair milk trade practices in India, for the benefit of the local and marginalized farmers, to form a cooperative independent trade. So that there would be a Amul Cooperative Society was on the basis of Amul Cooperative Society. It was formed so that the local would get the good prices for their, and there would not be any malpractices. And like Lijat Papad was of benefit for the women who are making, who are very good in making the papads, and they are because of that they are getting the easily get the revenue generation, and and overall development means females who are in villages, they are getting the jobs and they are paid off, and the company is also getting the means making the profits out of that. So these are the organizations which are some profit making organization and are working for the social benefits also. But there are some other like NGOs, not for profit organizations. They are not making any profits. It can be a charitable trust registered in Indian Trust Act. It can be a charitable trust registered under any public trust statute. Society, it can be a society. It can be a company incorporated under Section 8. So Nidhi companies, any other entity as may be specified by the board. So this was about the social enterprise. Then later, this social enterprise have to give the social impact assessment. So social impact assessment means if they are uh, arranging any seminar, any programs. So what is the impact? Suppose there is a eye camp or the blood donation camp is arranged by any such. So how much the person have donated blood, blood bank, or whether there is a eye camp is there. So how much the area they have covered, how much the male, female persons or elderly peoples have visited that camp. They have taken the eye checkup, and after the eye checkup, whether there is any surgery is required for the eyes, whether they have done their training properly. So social media access, because of that event for the society, like a eye camp, so it would impact a whole area. The eyes of all the areas would be tested, or there would be a polio dose camp. So all the children under 5, whether the polio dose has been provided to them or not, whether it is done on time or not. So what is the impact of that program created on the area or society? To then for assessing, it has to be done by the social impact assessor or social impact assessment firm. That has to be done by the social impact assessor or social impact assessment firm. So social impact assessor would be nothing but the person who has done the the exam, done the training and given the exam of NISM, and it can be a CA, it can be ICWA, it can be a company secretary. And the social impact assessment firm means a firm which is working and would have a minimum track record of 3 years, so that only they can take the such assignments of a social impact assessment. So this is a good opportunity for the CAs to work in these areas, so they can be the social impact assessors. And if more means they can be work as an individual, or they can form a firm, or take a big projects and can easily do the serve the society as well. So what are the requirements, qualifications to become the social impact assessor? What are the requirements? So one has to be hold the experience qualification, had to attend the course of NISM. So he have to complete the have to be a member of the self-regulatory organization. So valid certificate by NISM plus register with a SR. So self-regulatory organization. So self-regulatory organizations are ICI have their ISAI, and ICWA, ICWA, ICMA, SO, social auditor, organization, they have even the ICA side. So all the three institutions have their own as self-regulatory organizations. And if it is a firm, if they want to be, suppose I don't want to be work individually, I want to be, so I can be a part of any firm. Means a firm can get the assignments, and the firm should have at least a minimum 3 years of record. 3 years, then only they can have the, they can means other companies or NGOs can give the assignment to them. So qualification for social auditor, it can be a postgraduate. So it should have a minimum 3 years of experience. It can be a graduate having 6 years of experience, or it can be a CA, CS, or ICWA, and having a valid certificate of practice. So since like suppose I'm I'm a CA, I'm holding a COP, I'm doing a practice, so I can give the exam of NISM and can be after the clearance. I have to first apply to the CA self-regulatory organization, ISAI, for the membership, and then after the membership I can easily practice in this area. So what would be the process of this social impact assessment? So if I get an assignment, so how to start with the assignments? So first of all, I should have the structure. What will be the framework structure of this assignment? When to, how to start? Who identification of the stakeholders? Who can be the stakeholders? Like suppose there is a ICAM arranged by the NGOs. So who can be the, so first where the camp is arranged, in which area the camp is arranged, what will be the range of this, means whether it will be for 1 to 3 days, so how much population would be covered. So identification of the stakeholders and starting a dialogue process. So I should dialogue process means having the interview, what to ask to the stakeholders, whether you have miss eyes was properly checked by the, and the doctor was proper or not, he was giving proper response or not, whether what is said means whether you like a suppose for if a motiabind is there, then whether for motiabind the operation would be there or not, such dialogue process would be there. And if for providing the glass, they would be charging anything or not, whether it would be free of cost or not, whether transportation facility would be provided by them or not, whether the camp will be again rescheduled within a given period or not. So such a dialogue process would be, means I have to make the questionnaire before starting, means before uh, have to make the questionnaire so that I can easily uh, take this question and ask the questions to the target. Important activities, cross verification of the state, means they have said that I have done this camp, but actual camp is arranged or not, whether it actual people are getting benefited, or only it is on papers. So whether it is properly done or not, it is the uh, duty of the social impact assessment process. Data collection analysis. So first I have to take the collect the data from the various sources. I have to interview various doctors. I have to interview various the persons whose eyes were checked or whose blood donation. So they have blood, whether a proper syringe have been used or not. Everything has to be find out. Finding and verification. So after collection of data analysis, I have to give my findings. I have to report. I have to draft a report. And after the report, I have to submit to the NGO for the response of the observer. Means I have after having the review, after having the targeted audience means I have done this reporting. So after that, board approve means the trustee and everything. I should give the final report. When we as a CA, when we do the financial audit, our main purpose would be on the quantity data bigger. So even have the means it can be a means apart from financial data, we have to also see the what is the impact created because of that event. So prospective, like only financial data are taken into consideration, but as a social auditor, our area would be much bigger. Financial data is also necessary, like how much fundings are received, how much funding are utilized for social camp. Suppose 10,000 rupees is utilized for this ICAM. So for this, so how out of 10,000, whether it is fully utilized, or whether 7,000 is utilized, only 3,000 is left over. So how this 7,000 is utilized for transportation and another working, how much, whether doctors are paid or not paid, they are also doing free services, all these information. So it is multi-purpose. Stakeholders. So as financial data, as well as the, but in case of the social auditor, stakeholders are many. Means there are primary stakeholders, secondary stakeholders, as well as the society at large. So overall, so benefit of the society is there in case of a social audit. Eligibility for financial audit or tax audits, eligibility is chartered accountant. But in case of a social auditors, it can be a chartered accountant, it can be a CS, it can be a ICWA member who has taken the COP and cleared the NISM exam and registered as a member of any self-regulatory organization. He can do the social audit. So aspects, in case of financial audit, it is financial, but in case of a social auditor, it is economic, social, environmental, everything is considered. So ECG reportings are also there. Comparative. So if we consider the comparative, comparison with the firm of the auditee and all, but here external committees also impact. So social, it is impacting only the organization, means whose audit we are considering, whether they are making profits, what are the whether they are making profits or losses, or whether means the equity holders, the main owners of the company, are making what are the assets and liabilities of that company. So it is very much having the impact only on the that company. But when we consider as a social audit, it is impacting everybody, overall society. It is impacting the NGO, means they are getting the funds on time or not. If they get the funds, they are impacting the other. So they, like they are provided the training. So after providing the training, that means suppose young professionals or women are trained, after training they are getting the jobs. So overall the development of the society. So in case of a financial audit, is only quantity figure, means financial data are necessary, but in case of a social audit, as far as financial as well as the qualitative data is necessary, means interaction with the people is very much necessary. We have to make the questionnaires, interact with the various stakeholders, how much was the impact. So to ascertain how much impact has been created by that event. So in case of a financial audit, we give the conclusion whether it is a proper, all the compliances are done on time, whether TDS is deducted, whether the VSIC is paid, GST is paid on time. But in case of a social audit, impact is taken care. What is the impact because of that event? What is the impact created in that area, or and what is the impact created by that enterprises? So if anyone with any NGO want to list that NGO, or the profit organization for social purpose want to list on social stock exchange, SSC platform, so there should be a primary intent of social impact. First, basic condition should be to have the social intention that yes, if funds are raised, that will be utilized for the benefit of the society. Then that it can be a means the NGO or the company can be in the product, services, program, research and policy making. So it can be for any purpose. The activities can be focused on the underprivileged population, unserved, like ST, OBCs are taken care. So it's like providing education to the ST class peoples, ST class children's, underprivileged children's, or it can be like elderly peoples are taking care. So disabled peoples are taking care, means providing facilities like wheelchairs to the disabled persons, or like there is an NGO for the means the public servants, like army, navy, which are because of anything they are disabled because of any war. So they're this NGO is taking care of that persons. So social enterprises should, the means NGO should take at least 67% of its activity qualifying as eligible. So whatever the funds they are uh, raising from this, for this they have to be utilized this for 67% for this cause. Suppose 10,000 they have raised, suppose, so at least 67,000 should 6,700 should be utilized for that purpose, then only it can be possible. So revenue, they should utilize at least 67% of its at least 67% of immediately preceding 3 years. Miss, if they want to list, so past records have to be tracked whether they have utilizing properly or not. So for this cost, so by any type of donation they have taken any donation, so that donation is utilized for that purpose or not. So 67% revenue should be utilized, means expenditure has been incurred for that purpose. Who are the customer base beneficiaries? So at least 67% of the customer base are getting benefits because of that NGO. Then only if that NGO would be eligible to list on this platform. There are some NGOs or profit organizations, social enterprises, which cannot be listed on this exchange. What can be there? There are corporate foundations that cannot be listed. Any political, regional organization or activities, they are not eligible to be listed. Professional or trade association infrastructure and housing finance companies, except affordable housing. So if there is any NGO which provides affordable housing for any class of people, like underprivileged peoples, uh, then they can be considered to be listed on social platform. But other than this, housing finance companies, they cannot be listed on this exchange. Then, as Preeti ma'am said, there are the thematic areas. So what are these areas or sustainable development goals? So sustainable goals are no poverty. There should not be any power. Zero hunger means all should get the foods, good health, well-being of the society, quality education. So all the children should get the quality educations, gender equality, clean water for drinking. Everyone should get the clean water, clean energy, decent working conditions. Means there should not be harassment. There should not be any casteism in the working culture because of anything. Industry, innovation, infrastructure, reduce inequalities, sustainable cities and communities. So that there should be proper housing facilities to be provided for all. Climate action, life below water. So partnership for the goals. All these are the areas which are for which the NGOs would be working. Like social development goals as per the SEBI ICDR regulations. So these are the for the these are the areas: malnutrition, inequality, providing healthcare, including medical healthcare, mental health care, sanitation, making available drinking water, promoting education, employment, livelihood. Like I said, they are providing the education to the young professionals and training, so that young professionals or can do any work, like suppose mobile repair, so they can easily do the repairing and get good earnings. Gender equality, environmental sustainability, protection of national heritage and art and culture. This is also one of the important uh, goals. Promote rural sports, incubators to social enterprises. So there can be incubators. So they can provide the fundings for this, so that they can develop like incubators to the startups. So they provide the funds, they provide the space through such persons which have the good idea at the initial stage, but they are not having the funds. So these incubators can provide the funds. There are some disasters. So because of the disaster, that area is affected, so providing the any benefits to that people affected because of that disaster. Slum area development, protecting welfare of migrants. So any migrants from migrants from other places can be taken care. So these are the some development goals for which the NGO should be working. So there are certain regulations if they want the NGO wants to register. So what would be the what track record should be taken care. Suppose they want to go for the listing, and so what should be taken care, one should know. Means whether their ownership and interest, all the documents are properly or not. Like MOA, if it is a Section 8 company, whether AOA, MOA, trust deed, bylaws, everything is not properly done, or means proper documents are there. If registration certificates are there, means like 12A, 12AA, AB, for getting the benefits, PAN, valid PAN card they are holding or not. So age should be at least minimum 3 years. But after 3 years, they are eligible for the getting listed. Valid certificate, ATG deduction certificate are available with them or not. So all these are the mandatory criteria for the NGO for registration, and it is specified by the SEBI. So if they want to be listed on the stock exchange, they should be having the valid PAN. They should be at least minimum 3 years of existence. They should be utilizing their revenue at least 67% revenue for their area activity, which for which they are formed. Means they are, if they are formed for the providing the education, so 67% should be utilized for that purpose. They would be having the registration certificate 12A, 12A, 12B, valid ID PAN. everything. And minimum spending, receipts and payment. So there should be at least 50 lakhs would be spent for such activities. So in past, at least 50 lakhs, past 3 years, at least 50 lakhs would be utilized for this purpose. And last funding would be at least 10 lakhs. Then only they would be eligible for listing in stock exchange. So any NGO who has raised less than 10 lakhs rupees in last financial year and last 3 means financial years, they have spending would be less than 50 lakhs. They are not means they was funding received in past financial year at least 10 lakhs rupees, then only they would be registered. But if suppose if it is a for profit social enterprises, then that is for the NGO. But if it is a for profit social enterprises, then that that organization and social impact should be created because such an operation and strategy like Amul, Lijat Papad, and it should does not include a company incorporated in Section 8, and it can raise the funds like through equity, through debt, or by providing social reporting. Hello. Hello, with the presentation is visible? Sorry, it got disconnected.
It's visible.
Okay, thank you. So if I am an NGO, so how can I means raise the funds? I can raise the funds through zero coupon, zero principal instrument. I can raise the funds through social impact funds, mutual funds. But if it is a profit organization for social enterprises, they can raise the funds through equity and debt. They can list on the main boards for the listing and social impact funds. So there is they can easily raise, but for this they means if it is an NGO, they have to follow certain registration requirements. But if it is a organization, for profits organizations, for profit social enterprises, they don't have to no registration required. Like 12A, 12V, 80G, everything, all these requirements are not there. So what do you mean by zero coupon, zero principles? So it is a like earlier also I told that zero coupon, zero principal means no coupon payments would be there, no principal payment would be there. It is like a donation. It is for the once I have done the donation for such activity, it would be providing for that activity. So if I want to raise the funds through this instrument, zero coupon, zero principal instrument, then minimum issue size should be at least 50 lakhs. So like Unity has raised for provided documented for 2 crores. So minimum issue size should be at least 50 lakhs and minimum application share size would be 10,000. So one donation would be at least for the 10,000 rupees. And minimum subscription should be 75% of the funds proposed to be raised. So if like in case of Unity, they want to raise 2 crore of rupees. So they have raised 90%, 1.8 crores. So certain ineligibilities are also there. If means any NGO want to raise they would not be eligible to raise the funds through these platforms if the social enterprises or its promoters or directors is debarred from assessing the social market security markets for any reasons. If directors are fraudulent borrowers, so if there are certain cases by the means trustee, by the means any board of directors, board of trustees, then they would not be eligible for the raising the funds through this exchange. Then what means there would be requirements. Suppose they want to raise the funds from the zero coupon, zero instruments. So like if we want to raise the funds through IPO, we issue a prospectus. So if like NGO wants to issue funds through zero coupon, zero bonds, zero coupon, zero principal instruments, they have to issue differentiator. Differentiator is like prospectus of the means NGO. So like a companies issues a prospectus, social enterprises uses of a document is a differentiator. So in differentiator, it should be all the minimum disclosure should be there. Minimum initial disclosure requirement should be there. It should be published on an SSC platform, means social exchange and NGO website for 20 before 21 days for public comments. It should be in writing of the 30 days filing of the receipts, and it should be exchanged prior to the opening of the issue, and it should be listed on the website on the social stock exchange. So what it would be covering there, means this offer document would be covering various disclosures like vision. What is the vision of this NGO? What are the target segment statements, strategy, governance, management? Who are the means managing means board of trustees? Who are the operations? What, how they are means financial compliances, everything, credibility. What is the credibility of this NGO? Social impact. What the social impact they have created in the past? What are the risks taken by them? Like vision, organization activities and programs are in line with the aims and objectives, target segments, whether their clear targets are properly in that we would be covering this section of people's strategy for this means suppose for providing the training, whether the professionals are hired or not, if they want to have the donation camp or eye camp, so whether the doctors are appointed for that or not, governance. So who would be the governing body? Means the management. How, what is the management? The means finance, HR organizations for this operations. Whether it is in a physical existence. Suppose anyone to want to visit physically this NGO, whether this NGO is properly have proper address or not. Finance disclosure of financial statements are is as per the means ICA guidelines or not. Whether means means apart from social audit, whether financial audits are done on time or not. Compliances, all the compliances are done or not. All the registrations are valid or not. If any irregularities are there reported, it should be reported by the auditors. Whether like income tax notices are received by against NGOs or not. What is the credibility? Means whether this all the mistrust deed, valid PAN, 12A, 12A certificates, FCRA certificates, means if a foreign contributor, FCRA means for the foreign contributors. If foreign contributors means foreign donors are there, so whether their proper certificates are there or not. Social impact, what is the social impact created by that, if any events have happened in the past, so what's impact they, because of that social events happened on the in past, what impact created, so their impact scorecard is maintained or not. Suppose suppose in previous they have only done 4 5 events, and because of that this area is covered. Suppose 50,000 is received for, because of 50,000 such little area would be covered. But if they get a 2 lakh 2 crore rupees, how much more number of persons would be benefited because of that? So because of for this there should be proper analysis risk. So if I want to miss, if like in mutual funds, it is clearly mentioned that it is up to the investor whether they want to invest in such a means IPO, or whether in mutual funds. It is clearly mentioned. But if it is a profit organization, so that was for the NGOs. So they have to give differentiator like offer documents. But if it is a profit organization working for social work, then they have to list on the main board or a SME exchange. So it can be a main board means a BSE Sensex or a, NSE Nifty, or if they want to list on the SME exchange, it can be BSE Merge or a NSE SME platform. Then after registration also, so if they are registered once, then after registration also they have to give their means even on their websites they have to report within 60 days from the end of the financial year. All the means disclosures have to be there. Annual disclosure requirements means whatever the funds they have raised, what are their workings, so all should be properly, like general disclosure, what, who are the registered legal popular name, headquarters, what, where is the headquarters, vision, purpose of this NGO, outreach, means how much stakeholders have been targeted at which areas, which through which programs they are highlighted. Scale of operation, what is the scale of operation, net turnover, annual spending, annual budget, number of beneficiaries. They also have to list on the top 5 donors names and investors in there. So if time permits, I would show you. Otherwise, you can easily visit on the any Miss Unnati website, sir. Unnati website, they have clearly given all the reports and everything. Even the donors list is also there. Means who are the donor list, what are the top 5 activities, all the reports, means how they have raised means for the reporting, means for raising 2 crores rupees, and how this 2 crore would be means 1 point they have raised, received 1.8, then 1.8 would be utilized for how much would be the salary payment, how much would be the for the expenses of event. Everything is given in detail. Number of meetings, how much the meetings they have conducted in for this events. Related transaction remuneration policies, what are the remuneration policies, stakeholders, registrations, numbers, certificates, everything they have to give in their annual report, like a annual report in GST, like same annual report and annual disclosure requirements in for the all NGOs. So, and the financial disclosures are also very much necessary, like income tax, income statement, balance sheet, cash flows, uh, project-wise reports, how much funds are utilized, breakup of that budgets, expenditure, split of budget across the auditor's report, and proper. It should be audited by the auditor. Everything has to be clearly done. So it is the duty of the auditor, social auditor who has been appointed, to give the clear reporting every 6 months. Miss 6 months after the close of financial year, 6 months. So with this, we complete our presentation. Thank you for listening, and sorry for the disturbance uh, because of the net connectivity. If any questions are there, we can take.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, CA Nirmala Soni ma'am, for sharing your insights. Now I'll open the forum for any questions and so that you can take up and answer them. We have one question coming from Delhi from CA Nidhi Srivastav. The question states that whether a Government of India undertaking, which is a Section 8 company, can it register on the social stock exchange, and whether it can raise any compliance issues. Also, can you refer any such organizations who are registered?
Yes, Section 8 companies, they come under NGO, so they can raise the funds through these platforms. They have to they have to raise funds through. They have to first valid registration should be there properly, means 12A, 12AA, ABs, ATG certificates, everything should be on properly, would be there, and they can easily raise these funds, and they can raise these funds from like a zero coupon, zero principal bonds, social impact bonds, and this. And if you want to have any means name or such you can easily visit BSc or NSC websites where there are various 100 NGOs are registered, so you can easily take out the names easily from there.
Thank you, ma'am. Also, this is not relevant to the topic, but this would be more for the tech team. Is there any way like this entire material which we have presented, would it be available on the website, or can it be sent on email? Can this entire thing be shared with anyone?
I can share with them is the team. They can share if you want. Anyone want to share? They can easily coordinate with the team and get this presentation from there. Or they can in chat box they can write their mail ID. I can share them personally also. Means if any query is there for anyone.
Okay.
Otherwise, I can share this presentation with the committee they can share the presentation with the team, means whoever required.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. If there is any other team candidate who wants to ask any question, they can put it on the portal. Okay, we have one question also from Meera Shankar from Bangalore. What is the accounting treatment of investment in Section 8 companies? Will they be treated as associate company? It's not relevant to this topic. So,
What
okay.
will be the miss? Can I get the question again?
Yeah. What is the accounting treatment of investment in Section 8 company? Will they be treated as an associate company?
It is like investment donation.
Okay.
I want to donate 2 lakh rupees, but where to donate? I can easily see the list from the NSE and BSE website, and I donate through this mutual funds or through zero coupon, zero principal bonds instrument. It is a donation.
Okay. Okay. There is one more question from CM Mansi Rane from Thane. The question states, what is a corporate foundation?
Corporate foundation like Reliance Foundation. It is means formed by the corporate bodies.
Okay.
Like we have Reliance Foundation, or their Reliance Foundation. Even we have this Nadar Foundation, HCL.
Okay.
They are getting the CSR funds, so but they are utilizing that funds for the means making the hospitals, schools, and everything. But they would means exactly they have the sufficient funds. So why to get the donation from the small investors?
Absolutely. Um, Okay, so finally, let's close the question answer round. I would like to conclude this session. First of all, thank you, CA Nirmala Soni ma'am. Your
Thank you.
insights have been very informative. I'm
It's my
also
privilege.
extending my heartfelt gratitude to everyone who is attended this session. My sincere thank you to my co-moderators, Preeti Savla ma'am, for urging us to organize such sessions. My other fellow speakers, and also not to forget our technical support team, who and technical support team for supporting us throughout the session. And thanks everyone for helping us make this a great success.
Thank you.
Thank you.